Are live. Okay, here we go. What's good? Welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. We have a super exciting episode for you, a podcast. We're going to be talking to another NFT YouTuber, another episode. I don't even know which episode of NFT YouTubers Unite we've done. We've talked to over a handful of YouTubers now, so it's a lot of fun. I love talking to them because I don't get to talk to content creators like in real life. That's like not a thing. People like aren't doing that, and so it's really exciting for me. And we've got a really cool guy. Met him, Matt. On he's a YouTuber. He does TikTok. He's big onto the TikTok game, which is really cool for me because I felt like for a while it was like just me out there doing NFT content on TikTok, and then I found a whole variety of people. It's been a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'm Cade, your guide. We will be replacing the voices inside Dread for now, giving you a break from the constant total monologue that is the human mind. I want to say thank you first for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, smash the like button for me. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel. Join the kingdom. Follow me on Twitter, Discord. All his links are down below in the description as well. And we're going to bring him on right now. Sick. Fuck yeah. Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? I love that. You got the intro, the catchphrases,
Dude,
and everything. I love that.
That intro is that little intro bit was made by one of my OG Discord people. Or actually, no, it was two OG people. One of them did the graffiti art. He's like a graffiti artist. He has his own collection. And then one of them is like working on animation. He was like, yo, send me that file. I'm gonna make that into something cool. And then after he was making it, I was like, yo, I'll literally make that my intro if you can like add some cool music over it. And so that's where it came from. So that intro is super special to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always great having Discord members, just community members. Like they're so helpful all the time.
Dude, I fucking love it. Discord's got to be the best thing ever. Like I remember when I was growing up watching YouTubers, I always thought it was weird that like they didn't have their own community other than like the comment section. And I was like, man, it's too bad. Like I would love to, I don't know, I'd love to be in like their community. So when NFT YouTube kind of was a thing, and I saw people had Discords, I was like, oh, this is litty. And Bryce, yeah, absolutely. Make sure to abuse the like button respectfully, always respectfully. It looks like we have Nikki in the house saying, "What's up, Matt?"
Hey, what's going on, Nikki? She's from PB Alerts, the team over there.
Let's go. Well, dude, I'm fucking excited to talk to you. I love talking to YouTubers, I love talking to content creators, especially people who are taking TikTok seriously, which you're taking it more seriously than I am, because it looks like you're editing the TikToks, which is something I don't really do.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know how to. I can't. That's not me. We have an editor, so I wish I could take credit for all that, but that's definitely not me. I sit in front of a green screen. I do my thing with my script and all that, and then I send it off, and then they make it the magic happen.
So you have a whole script? Do you like script all your videos out?
For that channel, I have two channels. One's like kind of vlog like content. The other one's more so like just news and stuff like that. And just because I want to be, since it's news, I want to be impartial. It's very important to me that I'm not just like BSing. So I want to be able to make sure the script and like make sure all the facts are correct, I guess.
Facts. Yeah, I agree with that. For me, I've tried scripting videos before. I think I just like I ramble, and I'll literally have the script and I'll still ramble. I'll look at the words, and as I'm reading them, it'll just go in a different direction. I'm like, all right, fuck the script. I can't do it. So I just go with bullet points. Or if I'm like doing a review on something, it's easy because I just have like 12 tabs open, and I just go to them. I'm like, all right, I think I have a rough idea of what I'm going to say here. But I love your TikTok, because for people who don't know, on his TikToks, for a lot of it, it's like a split screen. It's got his face up here talking and narrating, and then below here he's got like an animation or a photo or something. And I really like it. What are your thoughts on like making content on TikTok versus YouTube? How different are they?
Ooh, so I started off doing YouTube content, very similar at like type of content, where it's like educational. Started off with stocks, actually doing stock education.
Oh hell yeah, cool,
and all that kind of stuff. And then you switch over to crypto and now NFTs as well. And YouTube is nice because I definitely feel like there's a more community feel, because you can do these live streams and have people in the comment section, and it's kind of like like the TikTok lives. I personally like YouTube just so I understand a little bit more. TikTok is easier to shoot for, though. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like a minute, so it's easier to make a minute worth of content than an hour worth of a review video or something like that. So.
Yeah, dude. TikTok's a whole different animal. I've had to study TikTok for like years to kind of figure it out. I still haven't fully figured it out. Like I still don't know how to get like viral videos, which is fine, because it's like very rarely are you able to maintain that kind of hype when you get a viral video. Like Charlie D'Amelio doesn't really happen very often, where you have a viral video and then every video after that just is viral every time, and then you become like a worldwide icon. Like, dude, okay, actually I have a question about that. I don't know if you even know her or even know anything about that whole like the famous people on TikTok and stuff like that. But how the fuck does that happen? Like, is there a TikTok god who picks people and says that person's going to be famous?
I mean, that I have no idea, but that's what it seems like almost because like it sounds like sometimes it's like there's no rhyme or reason why like some accounts like I'm like, are they just like buying views? Because like it's like
Yeah, I
some
don't get
random
it,
ass
dude.
views, like three, like this account that has like 3 videos up and like this like random like like whatever, and it has like 4 million views, 3 million views, and 6 million views. Like
Yeah.
what? Like I just don't get
It's
it.
fucking insane, dude. Especially because like I'm out here, I think I'm dropping like helpful content, and I'm like, man, this is good stuff. People would really, like, I don't know, the content we make, which is largely educational based. In my opinion, they help the most. I think the just overall like return on investment. If you're going to waste 4 hours of your time watching TikTok videos, I feel like the educational base are going to bring you the most return on your investment. But it's tough sometimes. Like, do you ever make your educational videos and you're like, man, if I just make a top 5 NFT projects video, that's just gonna moon. That's just gonna moon every time.
Well, luckily with the NFT side of things, I can be a little bit more, I guess, like moony about, do like the whole
Yeah,
top five. And I on YouTube, I've done like, like here's like 5 projects. I personally believe I don't like. I try to stay less away from like these like the ones that like are gonna moon. I typically do the ones that like these are the ones that I personally am investing in.
right.
With the stock trading over at PB Alerts, our analysts like they're not allowed to put out alert unless they are personally getting into the play. So I kind of try to do the same thing with NFTs. I'm not going to talk about an NFT like on my TikTok or whatever unless I personally have one or am involved in the and all because I don't want them like my people who are like watching to lose money if I'm like
Yeah.
not also losing money with them. I guess like because if I made a bad call, at least I'm also losing money.
Right.
But
Yeah,
try,
yeah.
obviously do your own research, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I wanna know about that with your stocks thing. So you got in stocks. How old are you right now?
30.
You're 30. So how long you been doing? Have you been doing investing content this whole time too, as well as doing your own investing stuff? Or
Yeah, so actually I started so I work for a company. So like I only started doing the YouTube and all that kind of stuff because of because of the company. We started off during the COVID, when COVID came up, everyone was staying at home. All they call us like Robin Hooders, like flooded into the market,
yeah,
didn't really know much. Kind of like right now with NFTs, it's a very
right.
it was very new to a lot of people, and there's a lot of people out there who is not new to who like to take advantage of the people who is new to, and
Hmm.
in both stock and NFTs. And well, we noticed that, so and we had some people who knew what they're talking about, who were genuinely good people, and we wanted to kind of fight that. So we created that PB alerts, and started off as alerts, and then we did education, and then we're like, well, we got to get the name out there. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
one of us has to go on YouTube and do some content. So I was like,
Damn.
I guess I'll do it.
Wow, and an accidental YouTuber. That's fucking
Yes,
hilarious. I
yeah.
love that. So that wasn't like on your radar before. You weren't like, I want to be a YouTuber.
Oh, no. I mean, I watched you. I mean, I always thought that I was too old for it at that point. Like by the time I started, like watching, Logan Paul and all that stuff. Like these guys are also like a good like 5 years younger than me anyway. So I always figured like, oh, like who am I like at 28, 29 years old to get
Yeah.
in like be a YouTuber and get into the YouTube game or even TikTok especially. But now it seems like there are a lot of people who, especially in education, are on the older side, who are out there and making social media not just for the 20-year-olds or the 18-year-olds in high school and all that.
Dude, it's interesting with content. I remember watching it in probably middle and high school is when I first noticed it. I've always wanted to be a YouTuber since I was like 10. I've got videos from so long ago making soccer tutorials, like free kick videos and all this stuff. So I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I never understood the algorithm. I didn't know YouTuber was like a thing. I didn't know it was like a job, except for like a couple accounts. And what I noticed really early on was like, these motherfuckers are kind of old. I was like, these guys are like, I mean, at that age, I was like 30s old. So I was like, these guys are like 30. I was like, what the hell? Like, they're all 30 though. And I noticed that like a lot of the big YouTubers, aside from some of the people who went viral, like Logan Paul at 20 years old kind of thing, that's a little different. Most people aren't doing that. But the majority of people I watched ended up being in their late 20s to late 30s. And I was like, oh, I guess this is like the norm for YouTube, especially. The people who know their shit like kind of have to do the thing to be able to talk about something educationally and to talk about something with perspective. Like, hey, I run a business. It takes 5 to 10 years to like make a business work. So like they have to do that first, and then they're making videos about it. So I noticed that early on. And I was like, from the age of like 13, I think, is when I decided I want to be 30. And I was just like, I want to be 30 already. I just want to skip forward. Like, is there a button where I can just be like, all right, move to 30? Because that's where you kind of have a little bit of experience and you've got some life experience. You've done some things. You've tried relationships. You failed. What would you say? Did you do anything like super risky in your 20s that you're like, you look back on, you're like, well, thank God I did that back then?
Oh, I mean, just I guess like the types of jobs. Like, I'm glad that I figured all that out. What jobs I did like, or I guess like for me, it's just more job building or just like resume
Mhm.
building these past few
Yeah.
years. Definitely glad that the whole stock trading thing. I'm glad I got into that a little bit earlier. when it was during the whole hype and NFT
How old
trading
were
and all
you
that.
when you were doing stock stuff?
I was still real. I only started I think I was like 26 or
Okay.
27 when I started off, but like I'm glad I didn't. I'm not getting into it right now because it'll just be like with work and all that. It'd just be a whole thing. But yeah, no, I wouldn't really say I didn't really do too much like crazy things. I was pretty. I mean, I don't think anything crazy.
Yeah.
I have some stories, but like no, nothing involving like NFTs or stocks or anything like
That's
that.
funny. Well, so what got you into stocks? Were you just doing a normal job and then you're like, man, I need to somehow make this money? Because that's how I got in. I was working a server job and I was like, I got good money, but I don't know where it keeps going because it keeps disappearing. I make a lot of money and it keeps disappearing. I don't know how to grow this shit. That's when I got started into like personal investing.
No, literally the same thing. I was working in hospitality,
Okay.
restaurants,
Yeah.
yeah, and same deal. And I was like, well, everyone in this industry is, working just to make enough for tomorrow, the next day, paycheck kind of deal. And I was like, I have, I have this money coming in. I want to put it away somewhere, and obviously a savings account, it gets you a couple pennies. It's like not even
Mhm.
worth it. So I was like, well, it looks like stock trading is the way to do it.
Day
uh,
trading or what kind of stock trading?
at first, I didn't even know what I was doing. I just kind of like followed some random YouTubers and like put money into like stuff, and it went up, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so good at this. And then I got a little overzealous, and then like everyone, most people do, I lost a lot, and that's when I realized, okay, time to figure it all out and actually do this
Yep.
like for real the right time. So
It's
yeah,
like the rite of passage. You got to lose everything first. It's like,
yes,
I swear to God, that's how it is. That's why when I make my videos, I'm like, look, I'm telling you right now, I already made these mistakes. Don't do this shit. And I remember when I was getting started, there were some YouTubers out there talking about it, but not nearly as many as there are now. There's just finance YouTube hadn't blown up yet. And so there weren't people saying like, hey, you're more than likely going to lose like 75% of your net worth when you get started because you're going to do dumb shit. Like I bought into stupid NFT projects, into like liquidity pools and just like so much bullshit. And that's when I realized like the boring YouTubers like Benjamin Cohen, who are out there doing like TA, just buying Bitcoin, Ethereum. And I was like, man, motherfucker, these guys were right. They just kept saying, buy the top coins. You're going to do fine. You're not going to get as big returns, but you're not going to lose all your money. And I was like, no, I'm going to pick the right coin. I picked Dogecoin once. I can do it again.
oh no, okay. So I remember the whole Dogecoin,
Yeah.
the hodlers and all that.
Yo,
Yeah.
oh yeah, what do you think about that whole thing with GameStop, AMC, Dogecoin, meme coin, stuff
Um,
like that?
I mean, it honestly, I think it was a great catalyst to get people, just like I think NFTs is a great catalyst, is getting people into the investing game. I personally, I wasn't going to put, my house on GameStop or AMC, but like, I know it's great because, a lot of people did, I know it wasn't great that a lot of people lost money, but a lot of people did lose money and realize like, oh, this isn't like, pump and dumps. There's a dump to it. It's not as
Yeah.
easy as just like, getting into the thing that everyone's talking about on Facebook 9 out of 10 times is already, it's on Facebook because it's already towards the end of the roller coaster ride that is up, and then it's eventually going to start going down again. And I think that like all those, like, the meme coins, like, Doge shit, like all that, the safe moon, it brought a lot of people to us as an educational platform because they realize like, oh, like, it's hard. Like stock trading, NFT,
Mhm.
all this stuff is not you can't just like get into it and make $1 million overnight. Like a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people out
Yeah.
there, on the stock NFT crypto game, they're like, hey, do this, one strategy and you're guaranteed to make $1,000 a day. And it's just like, come on. And then it's unfortunate because a lot of people get caught up in that and they think they can do that. And then they put a lot of money in thinking they're gonna make $1,000 a day and they don't, and they get themselves into a hole, and that's hard. It's hard to get out of a hole, especially if you go, that's why you always want to start off small.
Yeah. It's like impossible though because you get so excited about it and you're like you see the opportunity cost and you're like fuck it man fuck it I'll just throw a few thousand in here. What's the worst that happens? Because you don't know that the worst that happens is you lose everything, and that happens all the time. I remember when I got my Dogecoin, that was like my first big time flip, and I had bought something like in 2019, 2020 as a joke. It was like a random social media trend for like 3 days, and then it disappeared. And I was like, oh fuck, I lost $200 or whatever it was, and I didn't hear about it. Didn't hear about it for like 1 or 2, 3 years, something. And then my friend Devin called me, and he goes, "Yo, fucking re-download Robinhood right now." He goes, I don't think you saw that Dogecoin." And I was like, what even is that? And we opened it, and I was just like, like my reality was shattered. I remember just staring at that number, and I was just like, holy shit. And at that point, I had like kind of been doing finance stuff for a little bit. I just forgotten about that investment, and so I remember Johnny Crypto's words were like echoing in my head. And he was like, dollar cost your way out on the way up. And I was just like, I can do this. And so I like applied it there on Dogecoin. And when I saw that money hit my bank account, I was like, wow, this shit is real. And then that's when I just went fully into crypto. I fucking pulled everything out of my Roth IRA. I pulled
Oh,
everything out of everything in stocks. And I said, I'm just diving into crypto because I see an opportunity to make content here and to kind of like be in somewhat early on something because it's not common to be early on a massive industry.
well, Well, that's like NFTs. I think that we are
Mhm.
still early. I know, like crypto, I mean, crypto punks. I know that's old, but like even like Bored Ape Yacht Club only came out a year ago. Like
Yeah.
it's not like this is still really new, and I think that we're still just getting into the into what can actually happen using not even NFTs, but just the technology involved with NFTs. And I think that you is like I think that we're both like very early when it comes to the content. You especially being like you're like a full-time NFT content producer. Like, I envy you. I always like watch your channels and watch your videos. I'm like, dang, I wish like I don't know how you put out so much content on YouTube. I just like how do you have the time to do all that?
Dude, I don't even know. I remember I talked about this with Tom yesterday, and it was an interview. I'm not comparing myself to Elon Musk, but in the interview with Elon Musk, Lex Fridman was like, "Where do you find the motivation to work this many ridiculous hours, and like why and how do you do it?" And he just kind of sat there for a second. He was like, I don't really think like that. He was like, it just needs to happen. So I think that's how I look at it with YouTube. I've been making videos for so long, and I've been making videos that got no views for so long. And then this past like 2 years or so is when I really dove in and said, okay, like this is going to happen. I'm going to make this happen. And I started uploading. I got really, really used to uploading like 3 times a week. But it was my biggest issue was like coming up with videos to film and get the motivation to film them because no one cared. But when YouTube came out with NFTs and like I finally made my NFT video, it did okay, made a couple more, did okay. And then I found one that like clicked and I was like, oh wait, this is a niche that's not being filled. No one's talking about news. Yeah, at that point, back in like August or something, no one was talking about news. Nobody was doing reviews. And I said, I can fill this niche. So I started making videos. All 3 of them, like in a row, got views. And I said, oh, fuck me. This is it. And I had like 1,000 video ideas in my head. And I'm like, oh my God, people want to see these videos. And so when that click happened, I was like, that's it. It's over. I'm just going to dive in full time. And it's been, I mean, it just hasn't really stopped since. I mean, it's just there's so many ideas in my head, and my problem is I just can't edit them fast enough. So my first thing is going to be getting an editor full time when I have like consistent income, and then I'm going to bring on Bryce and my Will for community managing and modding and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to be able to hire out like a full team. Like I'm just fuck about you. You've got a fucking editor. Like you got a team on you. I'm like, oh.
I'm not gonna lie, it's so nice being able to, yeah, we have an editor like for all the graphics. We have someone for that. Like, because I
Man.
just, I mean, I we started off, like when, the company first started off, it was just us, like the 2 or 3 of us doing all the graphics, editing this and that, whatever. And, we did an okay job, but we weren't editors and we were graphic
Right.
design, like, so it's just nice being, I really do firmly believe in, then, once you get to the point where it makes sense to, outsource the things that, you're either not passionate about or just not the best at. And that way you have more time to do like
Yeah.
for you it'd be like shooting the content or connecting with people. Like for me, not having it like because it used to take like 2 or 3 hours, like just editing per day, and it's
Yeah,
not like
dude, it's fucking ridiculous.
it's a
Because you also
lot.
gotta wait for exporting, and then when you export, you gotta put it onto YouTube, and there's like a lot of sitting around and wait.
Yeah, that's the worst part. It's not even like it's not even just the editing. It's just like waiting for everything to come in, and
Yeah,
yeah,
bro, it's the
it's the
worst. And then
worst.
I'll be like done with it, and I'm like, let's go upload. And I'm like, oh, I have to make a thumbnail. I'm just like, fuck me,
I hate thumbnails so much. And your
bro. It
thumbnails
is
are
the
legit too.
worst.
I
Thank you.
like that you do like the white on the
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah, I
cool.
studied I
I don't.
studied some of this for a long time, and I remember I watched. So I take a lot of inspiration from certain YouTubers like Greg Doucette from the fitness industry. He does exactly what I'm doing, but on steroids. I mean, he's literally on steroids, but also he like has an editor, so he pumps out like 4 videos a day. And at first I was like, well, no one's gonna watch 4 videos a day. Then I was like, but it's not about the people who are watching all 4 of my videos. It's the fact that each video gets thrown out and there's a chance that someone might see each one. So he uploads a lot, and I saw the way he made thumbnails. It was very like big face reaction and then like thing, whatever it was. And those seem to do well. I saw the Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive. They do a very similar type of thumbnail. Those do really well. And I was like, man, what videos do I click on when I see them on YouTube? And I'm like, it's usually a big face with some kind of reaction on it and then something that interests me. And I usually click it. And so I started doing that. And I have fun making the thumbnails. It's just when I finish everything and I realize I forgot to make it already. That's where I'm just like, oh no.
Like you just want to like just be done with it after the hours.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah.
dude. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to have an editor who's like NFT focused and knows how to make videos like pop a little bit because right now my videos are good. I do the bare minimum for editing just to get it out as fast as possible. But I would love to have like sound effects, like little pop ups that come up. I would love to upgrade a little bit there, but just that'll happen with time, I guess.
So I know that you said, you have the community management and all that, like, and you want to get editor. You don't have an NFT project though, right? Like you're not, that's not like what
No,
your
I'm
thing
not. So
is.
I have a couple NFT Genesis collections, but those were art piece collections to begin with. There's like 20 class. I think there's a 20 piece collection and a 26 collection. So they're very very small, and those are my access key NFTs. And I have one more. It'll be the last one. It'll probably be like 5 NFTs, or I think it might be 4. So it's gonna be really, really limited. But I'm not really thinking about doing NFT collection anytime soon. Maybe that'll come down the line, but it would just be more investing in the brand of my brand. So my YouTube journey, what I'm gonna do in my life, basically investing. I'm gonna be bigger next year than last year. I don't really have any plans to like make a penguin collection and make it about penguins or something. It's always going to be about my brand.
Right.
So
It's interesting because I feel like I could be wrong, but like besides you, I it's hard for me to find other NFT influencers who don't already have their own, who aren't already doing projects or this and that. I feel
yeah,
like we're like probably one of the only two who aren't like doing a NFT project
honestly,
ourselves.
yeah, honestly, I've had a lot of people reach out and say you're wasting a bag. Like there's a lot of people who are in the space who made probably $5 to $10 million off like their mint, and
Right.
they're like, look, they got their launch started, they got podcasts, they got edited, all these things. I'm like, yeah, but like I don't know. I just don't look at it that way. I don't know. I think it would help me long term. Like every time that kind of thing happens, it sounds too easy. And Gary Vee just rings in my fucking head. And he's like, the longer you can push off those things and build and be flex, so I can be flexible now. I can do whatever I want because I don't have investors who invested in me. So I can do whatever I want and pivot wherever I want to go. And Gary Vee just always rings true. He's like, it matters like what happens over the course of 100 years, not what happens in 1 year increments. And I think as long as my brand's there and people support me, I can drop a project whenever I want and it'll do well because they're going to support me. So I just haven't figured out what it's going to be yet. And I want to be able to be full time with a staff around me who's like able to handle this shit. And I want all of them to be full time with me. I don't want them to be working a part time job at Trader Joe's and me be like, yo, I need you to do this. To like, I'm at the register, fam. I can't. I get off at 8 o'clock. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's kind of where I'm looking there. Why haven't you done it? Is it because the same reason or?
Well, yeah, like pretty. I mean, I just don't think it would be fair for me to like. I just don't know enough about it as like. I understand how to help people market their NFTs. I know how to help people get I can do AMAs and that kind of stuff. But I just don't think that it would be fair for me personally to like make a MetaMat NFT or whatever because I just don't know what I would be able to I guess do for my holders. Like
Yeah, exactly. That's
like
the
so.
thing. You can't bring value for a lot of us. It's just like we're all
Yeah.
just sitting here like hoping that it like goes to the moon. If it does, you can use those royalties to do something. But it's like, what are you gonna do? Like everyone's running out of ideas. Like do merch, and then they're like airdrop.
And that's
So
the
it's just
thing,
like, what the fuck do we do?
I'm like, because I'm like, I make content. It's like, well, I can like
Yeah,
have them like choose what I make. I don't really, I
exactly.
can't like join my community, but like I don't, you shouldn't have to pay to be in like a chat with me. Like this doesn't to me
Right.
that just doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
I understand like a lot of artists are. I'm also not an artist. Like I'm not like trying to like
Hmm.
it just doesn't make sense for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of it is college affected me. I remember watching like fraternities and sororities and like you have to pay like it's basically the same thing. You're paying to be in this group.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so silly. I was like, dude, I would pay if it was something like I got into this group and a couple years later down the line, they were really killing it. I was there from the beginning and they're like, all right, if you want to get like the exclusive gold standard, whatever fucking membership, now this is when we're going to offer it. I'd be way more down to do it because I'm like, okay, they proved themselves. I like them. They're putting in work regardless of what I've given them. So I know I can trust them and they have a track record. Like for me, I don't have a track record. I'm 23. I've gone to college. I played college sports, and I lived in my car. That's literally it. That's my life resume. So like, why? I have no like. There's no way I can be like, yeah, you should buy my NFT, fam. I made YouTube videos for 6 months. You should buy my NFTs. It's
That's
just
how I
like
feel.
it's bullshit.
That's literally how I feel. And like
So
who am I? Because these are businesses. If you think about it,
right,
like like
exactly.
you're getting investors who are investing. You're getting shares. If you want to say NFTs, and it's like yeah, I'm a YouTuber. Like like why am I going to be in charge of all your money? Like how does that make sense to me? Like I don't know. No, I agree 100% with you that like, and I think that a lot of people it's oversaturated market because a lot of people are just jumping in because they see
Money.
money.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
yeah. And I want to get the and I know how I guess I've watched so many creators and influencers do their thing, and I've watched their growth and progression and stuff, like from lifestyle YouTuber vloggers that were at the top of the game to like smaller niche creators. And I saw like which ones that I liked and which ones that I wanted to replicate myself with and kind of follow in their footsteps. And I was like, okay, for them, they have this specific kind of audience that I like, and they make this kind of content. And they have this type of support. I want that kind of support. And I was like, for me to do that, I have to make videos where respect is like the number one thing. I need people to watch my video who are more like bigger in the space than me, either in business or on YouTube. And I need them to watch my video. And then when they look at my subscriber count, not be like, oh, this guy's a loser, but be like, this guy's underrated. So I was like, I need that kind of reaction. So that's the kind of videos I'm going to make because I want CEOs to watch me and say, let's call this guy. We need to get on a business call. Like that was the goal there, not like, let's get these 14-year-old moon boys who are in middle school using their mom's credit card to buy my NFTs. I want those kind of fans, And like I watched Logan Paul do that like for a couple of years. It was difficult. He went from vlogger, 14-year-olds watching his videos to like age up his content. It took like 2 years to age up his content. I was like, I think I could do that a little bit better because I'm kind of thinking about it in the future because I get to watch all these YouTubers who did it before me. And that's like the best part. We get to watch people before us who failed and succeeded and really just like nitpick what we want to do.
No, it's cool that you like, because you want to be a YouTuber prior to even like NFTs becoming like a
Hmm.
thing. So like for you, it's less about, like pumping a project or this, that, whatever, it's about,
Yeah.
hey, I want to make YouTube content. I want that to be my thing. And I think that's awesome. Cause I made like I made content before all the stock stuff, like workout videos and stuff. Like it got like
Let's go.
two views and like three
Yeah.
views, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I just didn't know what to do. It's like I always wanted to, but I tried, and then I unfortunately I gave up after like doing like that for like a month or two, getting like 15 views total. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe it's not for me. But and then eventually I got back into it, with the company that I'm currently doing social media for. But like I also it sounds like you watch a lot of YouTubers growing
Oh
up. You
yeah, I was
feel
a
a lot of
YouTube
name.
fiend. I
Yeah,
thought I
like
was a dork, dude. Everyone else was watching shows. They're watching like,
mhm.
what's it called? Like what are those? Like blue, not blue, it's like blue shirts, blue color. It's some TV show with Suits, I think it's called. And like
Yeah.
these reality shows on TV, and I'm sitting there like watching vloggers, and I never show people what I watch. I was like, oh, I'm not watching a fitness YouTuber. I'm watching a The Office or something. But I was always watching YouTube.
Yeah, no, I watched like you're talking like Greg, and like there's a lot of like fitness YouTubers and like all like that's where I
Hmm.
got a lot of my like knowledge for working out and that
Hmm.
kind of stuff, and just and NFTs and study all this kind of stuff. It's a really great place to just learn. But I also watch like the vlog, like the Logan Pauls
Yeah.
and like like the content houses and all that kind of stuff, doing like the funny vlog stuff. But have you ever thought about like I know like there isn't a lot of because NFT space everyone's kind of all over the place. Are there any like content, like it's not content houses for NFTs or like anything like that? Like NFT influencers
Um,
or any? Are there any brands like that, or is it just a bunch of? I haven't personally seen any or found any.
I don't think there's any houses. What we're doing right now with some of the YouTubers is we're like banding together, doing like weekly shows or whatever it is. Sometimes, like me and Tom do a show on Wednesdays where we just talk about it's like an NFT market update, and then I know he does one with like Andres on Twitter Spaces, which I need to do more. I just don't really, I just never get on Twitter Spaces. I think it's because I prioritize YouTube. Like if you were like, hey, do you want to do Twitter Space or YouTube live stream? I always say YouTube because that's just I like YouTube. I'm more comfortable with a camera than not with a camera for some reason. Like if I'm on a Twitter space, I get nervous, even though no one can see me. I'm just sitting there with the with like the phone right here. And so I don't think there's any content houses. I would be down. I mean, I've watched all those people. I've watched like all the different sectors of YouTube. I've watched like the hype house, like those
Yeah,
like the super famous people and all that stuff. And I think there's aspects that I take from each one because I know there's like an entertainment value, which is the big. That's like what I really push for my NFT content. Is I'm trying to make it entertaining. Like I want my channel to be like a TV show about everything to do with NFTs. So if people just like being NFTs and we're in a bear market, so that there's no like top 5 project videos, like those aren't really doing well because we're in a bear market, then like my channel is the one that I want people to go to because they're like, oh, well, shit's always happening because NFTs don't sleep and crypto doesn't sleep. So like there's something's always happening. There's always some kind of FUD, some kind of bullshit happening. I'm going to cover it in an entertaining and like educational way. So that's the kind of way I see it. But what would you say for your YouTube channel? Like, what's your favorite kind of content to make?
for me, I like I mean, I personally I like interviewing people, kind of like what like the podcast
Yeah.
type of deal. Like it's like bring like if there's something like big that happens, bringing on like the founder, whatever. Like it's a company that's something, bringing the CEO and just just getting the like the news out there and in a way that I guess like makes sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it's good. Like, do you have now that you've been doing YouTube for a while, you're still working at the company. Do you have aspirations to be like a podcast host or like a YouTuber or like is there something that you could see yourself doing long term?
Um, I to be honest, because I work for the company, like I'm very much like I want to do whatever I can to help the company, help PB Alerts, Veritas Media. So I work for the for a company. The CEO owns like like there's like a whole bunch of different companies that I also work with, and
Hmm.
so there's Titan Trading. We do the crypto NFT education. We have PB Alerts with stock education, but we also have Never Alone Recovery. So we're helping people in recovery. Because after recovery, people get out and they're not helped. A lot of these programs just want to get you into recovery and help you get into it. And and there's a problem. We're gonna fix it, but then they don't realize that the problem also continues after you get out. Because so we are trying to help that whole process kind of there's just so much going on in the world that we're trying to the whole Never Alone brand whether it be recovery we want to kind of make that a little bigger with like we have the whole veterans area in the discourse like you're a veteran you have something you struggle with, you're never alone. Someone who maybe lost child or what, never alone. Mothers who are struggling, you're never alone. So we want to, that's kind of what I'm really focused on right now. I'm just doing the YouTube stuff to help build that brand, or build the whole company, but I think the main goal for me is to help as much as possible with that mission when it comes to just helping people. Right now we're helping people in the NFTs. But
yeah, how'd you get into that kind of job like that? I think a million people, like anyone who watches is probably like, how the fuck did this guy land a social media job? That's like not a thing. And before I started doing it, I didn't see a clear path to do it either. I was just like, well, fucking cross your fingers, I guess. Like,
I got lucky. I'm not gonna lie. I just joined this group, PB Alerts, stock trading. I didn't know like what I was doing, so I wanted to, to learn more about stocks, and then I just realized there's just something missing. Like it was the alerts were amazing, and these guys knew what they were talking about. But like as for new traders, it was very hard. It was hard to understand like exactly what was going on. So I kind of like I just like messaged the owner one day. I was like, hey, like it'd be kind of cool if there was like a area for new traders and new members, like kind of learn together and not feel like they're all just not feel overwhelmed. And he's like, all right, cool. And like I love the person, the CEO, Austin. He's amazing. He's a good person, and that's And he's like, yeah, just go for it. He gave me a channel in the Discord, like just went for it because we talked, and he could tell I actually wanted to help people. So we made that channel. It was like the new members program at one point, and now it's Penny Boys University. We made a whole class program and all that, and then just through doing that, I just kept. Honestly, I was during COVID. I was making unemployment, so I was good. Like I was financially stable, and I didn't have anything to like. I had nothing to do, so I was able to just like keep building, keep helping him build this, this brand and this company, and then it just paid off. I just got lucky. I happened to be in like the right place, the right time, early on. Back when it was 200 members, and now it's like blown up since then. So I just got lucky. I started off, I was just educating, then social media. I've done like so many different jobs there that now it's marketing, or now it's like the NFT thing, I guess.
Yes, I mean it's a little bit of luck, but it's also the fact that you put yourself in the position to get lucky. Like I always say, it's about where you put your cards. That lays out the future and your destiny and luck and all those things. Like for example, if you wanted a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something, and you haven't left your room in 6 weeks, you're like, well, what if you had walked outside your fucking room yesterday and walked to the edge of the road, and a fucking girl walked across and you bumped into her and she spilled something and you picked it up and now it's your girlfriend? Like that's a opportunity that would have been pure luck if you had walked outside. So it's kind of the same thing there. Like you join that group, ready to learn, ready to put yourself out there. The guy reached out, you're talking, and that's kind of how it happened. And so for people who are like, I mean, that's how it was when I was growing up. You watch all those videos, like, how do you make it? How do you do this? Like, well, there's not really a secret. You just kind of do stuff, and then things happen, and then momentum picks up and you go. And it's hard to kind of get that ball rolling. But that's really the only thing there. It's just you get the ball rolling, and then shit just starts happening, and you pick stuff up as the ball's rolling and things happen. You drop people off, and it's a wild fucking crazy life. It's a pretty crazy life. What were you doing before stocks again?
Just hospitality, as managing restaurants, doing party planning and all that kind of stuff. That was what I was doing directly before.
Did you like doing that at all, or was it like as soon as stocks hit, you were like, "Fuck it, I'm gone"?
So I mean, I do enjoy people, like, so I enjoyed it to an extent. Like I have to work. People need to, as far as jobs go. I did enjoy it. But like it's one thing helping people at a restaurant, but and it's another thing that now I'm able to help people on such a grander scale. That to me is just like it's just not comparable, I guess.
Do you talk to people now?
In the restaurant?
No, like here, like do you still talk to people, or is it like a lot of alone time right now?
Well, I do. It depends. I mean, I do like a lot of interviews and stuff. So I guess like virtually, yeah. But no, I do try to like put out some time in the day just to get out to like just get out there. Luckily, working in hospitality, I have a bunch of buddies who work in the restaurants. I can go and have a few drinks for free or whatever and hang out.
Let's go. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
But like you said, like it's just putting yourself out there. Go out there, and there's always content to shoot now. I always feel like terrible because I'm like, whenever I'm outside or just doing anything, like I'm always like, like I wonder if I could turn this into content, or I wonder if
do literally every single fucking time.
It's terrible, but no, it's like you said though, putting yourself out there, which I thought you're doing with the energy drink, right? Dude,
I fucking hold on. Let me grab my. I think where's my Celsius? Is it?
It's Celsius, right?
Yeah. Let me grab it. It's right there. Hold on.
For those who don't know, he's been repping Celsius for a while now, trying to get that brand sponsorship. It's awesome.
All right, I spilled this shit yesterday. I spilled it all over my desk when I was live with Tom. So yes, I would love to be sponsored by Celsius one day. They're my favorite energy drink, and I tweeted at them yesterday or the day before, and I was like, "Yo, Bang Energy just reached out to me. This is like a disgrace."
I saw
I
that.
respect to Bang Energy, whatever, but I would much rather work with Celsius. I mean, I mean, I've tried Bang Energy. I don't have anything against Bang Energy. It's just like I feel like it's one of those companies that if you go over to the dark side, it's like, oh, you're a Bang Energy athlete. You know, that's just what that's like the vibe. Because I was in the fitness industry, like I know what people think about Bang
Right.
Energy. So it's just like you sign your soul over. So I would love to work with Celsius. I think it can help. I want to bridge the gap between like NFT content, investing content. Like they're big. I mean, the chances of me really landing this sponsorship are pretty low because they're really only focused on fitness and lifestyle people. But I'm like, look, guys, energy drinks and gamers and people on the computer are like synonymous. We drink energy drinks. That's what we do. We don't drink water. And I was
Mm.
like, you guys are zero cal. I like it. And I'm making content. I'm growing every month. I was like, this could work. So I'm really hoping it works.
That'd be really cool. I know you. I saw I saw it on Twitter. It must have been a TikTok as well. It was you trying. I can't believe it. I can't forget. I forgot the name though. The Logan Paul's energy drink.
Oh, Prime Energy.
Prime. Yeah, I saw you
Or no,
try
not Prime
Prime.
Energy. Prime something.
Yeah, Prime hydration or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But
yeah.
have you tried those? How do they
Dude,
compare
Prime Energy
to?
is fucking good. If I could, I mean, I can't afford it, but it's like I'm not gonna afford it because it's expensive. I love Prime Energy. It's if I had to choose between that and Gatorade, I'm picking Prime because Prime is like
Okay.
20 calories and it tastes fucking phenomenal. I dilute it with like a tiny bit of water, probably like 1 to 20. And it's fucking amazing, bro. It tastes like juice, kind of like a Gatorade juice type of thing. And I thought it was really good. I love the packaging. I think the packaging is really what
Mm.
sold me. It's like a really deep, rich color on the outside of it, and then it's just like big like letters on the side. I'm like, fuck, this is good. I like it. So I fuck with Prime Energy. I'd be down to get a sponsorship. I just think it's a drink sponsorship makes sense for channels like us, especially we're live streamers, right? So if I was sponsored, for example, by Celsius, what I would do is I would get this Celsius bottle and I would tape it to my mic right here, and it would just sit here for an hour and a half. And anyone watching me would be like, damn, this motherfucker is cool. He's smart. He's talking to these cool people every single day. He's been at work, and this man drinks Celsius Energy. Let me see what that's about. And I've already converted over multiple YouTubers, all these people. I always tag Celsius when they post. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna try this Celsius." I'm like, "Yo, are you seeing this shit?"
I literally heard about it because of you. So
Yeah,
there's
it's
that.
fucking good. It's good. You should try it. If there's a Costco near you, they sell them at Costco. Every
Yeah.
single I mean, anywhere you could find energy drinks, they'll be there. It's a solid drink.
Oh yeah, I gotta check that out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, like for being a YouTuber, I'm luckily part of the company, so but I don't have to worry too much about like sponsorships and all that. But being a YouTuber, have you like been able to? I know because you said you like I remember on one of your podcasts you said that you did like fitness, like on Instagram, and you got like sponsorships and all that.
yeah.
Has that translated over to NFTs, like or to the NFT space at all?
It will. I think it will. I don't think it'll be because of NFTs. I think it'll be just because of growth of the channel. Like once you hit a certain number, like when you hit 10,000, you get the K, right? And that's like the glorious K. That's when followers just start flying in. They see the K and they click subscribe no matter what. A little bit harder until you get there. It's kind of like when people say your first million. It's like that's really hard, but once you hit your first million, like the 2, 3, 10, like that gets
Right.
easier and easier. So I think that's how it's going to be with my sponsorships. It's just going to be like as the channel grows. As I mean, if NFTs have a real ramp up like crypto had in 2021, that's when Journey Crypto went from 30K to 600K in 1 year. NFTs are even bigger, and that's kind of what I see happening. I think my channel is going to explode along with all the other NFT YouTubers when we have a big influx of people in whatever that ends up being. So I think that's when the sponsorships come in. I had an NFT project sponsor me for the first few months when I was at like 800 followers, which was wild. And then after that, I had partnered with Supducks and we had a certain type of monetary agreement. Then we ended up swapping that over to something else. And then Weeble sponsors the channel, but it's kind of like a what do you call it, like a commission base. So like each time someone signs up, I get it's actually a really good deal. They get 5 free. By the way, if anyone wants to get 5 free stocks, that's how you get it with my Weeble link. 5 free stocks helps me out directly, and then you get free money. And Weeble's good. I like Weeble. It's just like every other platform. It's actually the one I use next to Robinhood because I just thought it was well organized and stuff like that. But sponsorships are hard to come by until you have certain numbers. I feel like that's the main metric there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Like, luckily in the NFT space, obviously with stocks, I never found this, but like NFTs, there's so many of these startup projects. A lot
Hmm.
of a lot of them are just kids, or this. It's not a bunch of CEOs like who aren't
Right.
willing to talk to us. So like, I definitely found I've been able to like get more, not sponsorships, get more communication partnership, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
like with NFT projects as opposed to like we do a lot of work with like publicly traded companies, but like, they're talking to my CEO, like, they're not talking to me. Like, so it's nice. It's nice being able to, like, in the NFT space, like, actually be able to talk to the founder, to the
Yeah,
artist.
isn't that crazy? Like, I've talked to some really fucking big people where I'm like, yo, what am I doing here?
Yeah. No, like literally the other day I had a Twitter space with like two like crypto lawyers. Like on May 2nd, I have this guy who's running for Congress. He created.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I reached out to, like, I sent him like a TikTok I made about like the project. I'm like, whatever, we'll see how this goes or what.
Mhm.
And then like he's like, oh, I really like them. Like, we want to come on a Twitter space. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, right. Like he's like, sure. Like, we'll talk about my campaign, this and
Wow.
that, whatever. I'm
Let's
like,
go.
what? Like, and so I'm totally like, that whole like imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to
Yeah.
be talking to some like, some scientist who's running for Congress and all this? Like, what? But
That is wild.
that's what NFTs are doing for people. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah, man, it's like one common ground where we're kind of all level in a way, in some ways, like when I interviewed the at the time the CEO of Bungie project, which was Brandon Murphy's big art project. He's like a big contemporary artist, and Greg Norman is this like massive Web2 CEO dude, like super fucking rich, super successful, his own companies. And I'm out here talking on a YouTube live with them, and that was I think that was my very first big podcast with someone who was way out of my league. And I'm sitting there and like I didn't quite know what it was going to be like when he signed out. Then it ended up being really cool. And now we're friends. So everything's good. But when I was talking to him, I was like, "Yo, this is a guy that I would never be able to talk to this guy if not for YouTube and my exact situation here. Because otherwise, he wouldn't give me the time of day. Like, why would this dude who's a multimillionaire bother talking to some 23-year-old kid with a YouTube channel? But that's like the best part. Like, I got the weirdest people following me, dude. Like, I'm sure you got some weirdos following you who have like just like why are they following a YouTuber? You know what I mean? But it's the coolest part.
no, it's just it's insane. Like, it really is. Like just the connections and just everything that can be made with this space, like YouTube and now Web3, like NFTs and all that. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like seeing how literally anyone can create a project and now like being a social media person, like where it's almost like, we're like, because not a lot of people know, like these big companies that I talk to, like even like the ones that have publicly traded stocks, they don't know, like they don't have a social media company for some reason. Like, a lot of them don't know anything about this. So like what you do know, like, what you bring to the table is super valuable to a lot of these companies because they
Mhm.
just don't know about that and they don't have that. And they're probably not willing to spend the, X amount of money that these like BS social media companies do charge. There's so many people like who have like, all these subscribers and all these followers, like, on Twitter and Instagram, but like they're all paid for and like, it's
Yeah.
all BS. And like, I think it's better to have a genuine YouTuber, like you, and, a genuine influencer, than some, BS bot,
Yeah. Yeah, I
algorithm.
agree. And I think for that reason, because I know there's a lot of people who think that way, and people who think that way, I tend to vibe with more. And like my whole YouTube circle, they all kind of think like we do, and because of that, it gives me confidence in being able to stave off like the fucking fast food, which is taking the brand deal, taking a promo or something like that I don't really want to do because maybe you make a quick bag there, but it's going to hurt your brand later on. And for me, like when I look at the NFT YouTubers, I'm like, okay, we're realistically probably all going to make it in some way, shape, or form as long as we're consistent, we're making content, it's good, and we're able to adapt. So if we're all going to make it anyway, and I'm very confident I'm going to make it, I'm like, so if I'm going to get there, what's the point of me taking this bag now if I'm still going to get there? And I was like, if I'm going to get there anyway, I'd rather just do it the way I'm going to do it and attract the kind of people that I want. Because if people like me are thinking that this kind of content is valuable for companies, there are going to be company owners who have way more money than me who are willing to roll the dice on a smaller creator like myself. And I just got to be patient and wait. But it does stink sometimes, but it's good to hear from other people that they're like, have the same mindset as me. But when people ask you like what you do you tell them YouTuber yet?
Well, I mean, I tell them to make social media content. I tell them
Damn.
stock educator or NFT educator.
That's funny. What do people think about that? Like, no muggles or normies who don't like know money like that. Like, there's 99% of people are not like money focused like we are, kind of thing. Like, what do they think about that when you say that?
Well, luckily, like now, like I found ever since like the whole COVID thing, and even now, like NFTs and crypto, after like the crypto bull with Coinbase
Yeah,
commercial and all that, I think it is becoming a little bit more mainstream. So like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everyone would be looking at me like I'm crazy. Now I find a lot of people actually kind of like are interested about. Like, I'm like, oh, like, do
really
stock and NFTs because, oh, like
cool.
what's those, what are those NFTs I keep hearing about, or like what's that crypto thing, like how does that work? And people
So what do
actually
you say, bro? Do you explain it? Because that's a 20-minute conversation right there.
Yeah, it depends on if I had the 20. I like to, because I really do want to just get as many people onboarded as possible. I think NFTs are a great way to, cryptos. for me, it's fun, but like for a lot of people, it's boring.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to get a lot of people into crypto. But NFTs, these pictures, utility, this and that, it's a lot easier to sell to, like you said, like the muggles or the normies.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great way to onboard people, and people get interested by it.
I
Especially
have
after.
not had success with NFT stuff. I have avoided that word in public if I can, because one, I mean, it's a difficult concept to break down for most people. I mean, it's not a difficult concept to break down, but it's difficult if they're not in the mindset to actually know it. If they're just sitting there and they're not even listening to you, even if I give them the most comprehensive breakdown, they're going to be like, yeah, that's a scam. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I just say I make videos online about tech stuff.
Tech stuff, okay.
Tech stuff. I say tech stuff, and that usually, and I'm just because at that point the conversation just goes, "Oh, you make content, that's cool," and I'm like, "Okay, I can talk about that. It's a little bit easier. They're a little bit open minded there." And then if the conversation steers into like, "What exactly do you make content about?" Then after I've won some of their trust a little bit, I'm like, "Okay, there's this thing called NFTs, and they're picture things, and you buy them, and like, and then I can start to do it." But it's a funny thing, dude. The entire NFT YouTube space. Oh, by the way, I think it was you who messaged me. It may not have been. Are you going to NFT NYC? Was that you who asked me that?
Yeah, I actually
And
am.
you will be there.
Yeah, I just got the ticket yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Actually. So yeah, I'm excited for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm super fucking pumped. We'll all be there. We'll all meet up. We'll probably, I'm sure everyone's gonna bring their cameras, and
Oh yeah.
we'll all do bits for everyone. I know the Fairy Fiends NFT creator Riv wants to make some TikTok what are they called? Skits and stuff like that out in public. And I was
cool.
like, okay, I can do this.
Have you ever done anything like that before? Like
I've never done like a skit in public. I'm not like that's the YouTuber stuff that I have not really got into. I don't have that type of confidence. But I was like, look, if you're gonna do it, I'll do it with you, but I will not do that on my own because that shit is way too embarrassing. I've never been to a public convention like that. I never went to the Arnold or any kind of fitness expo like that. So this will be my first time.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my question. So you haven't gone to any of these NFT anything?
No clue what to expect. I almost went to NFT LA, almost went to LA NFT San Diego, but I forget what happened with my schedule. I wasn't able to go. I think no, actually NFT LA, I just didn't know until the day before. Like Frankie texted me, he's like, "Yo, you coming? The Subducks we're doing a thing," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "NFT LA," and I was like, "What?" I had not even heard of it, and so I was like, "Fuck me." But I definitely knew I was going to go to NFT NYC. That's where everyone's going to be. And Bryce, you're absolutely. It's going to be flooded with fucking creators. It's going to be flooded with everyone. I think I'm not sure what to expect. Like New York City's busy on its own as it is, so I'm like, are we going to show up in like NFT parades or like?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, yeah, it's not like a big open area. So like I don't know. I've been to conventions before, but not for NFT. I've done like for restaurants, like when I would go do like liquor orders, it'd be a whole bunch of like wine and this that to try, and it was like like kind of single file going to each table. Like, I'm wondering if that's how it's going to be, like kind of like just like checking out the tables, or if it's going to be like I have no idea what to expect, to be honest.
I fucking don't know, dude. I'm gonna try and make it as interesting as possible. Like I'm gonna try. Like I would love to get like a cameraman or something because I hate vlogging so much. Like it hurts how bad I hate vlogging, and so I don't want to bring my camera with me and like film the whole thing. So I'm gonna make probably like a cinematic vlog with snippets of talking pieces where we do like a little bit about something, and then just make everything else cinematic. Put music over it because I don't want to be like, oh, we're going to this restaurant here next. Like I don't want to be annoying about it, especially because we're all gonna fucking have cameras, dude. Like you seen those vlogs with like 9 content creators, each of them have their own camera, and they're all pointing at each other, and I'm just like, I can't do that.
So that's not typically your type of content, though,
I don't want to, and I know it's fun and they get clicks. Like there's a lot of YouTubers like Jesse James West right now is big on popping on YouTube for fitness. He goes out there on the streets and he's like interviewing people. I could maybe do something like that, not as cringy or loud and obnoxious probably. Even though I love Jesse's content, I know he would be obnoxious, so I can't do that. I want to, when I move to Seattle, I want to go out and just like make myself do this. Go out on the street, bring a camera, maybe a cameraman, and just go to people on the street and say, what do you think about NFTs? And just gauge people's like normal people, what they think about it. I think that'd be interesting to do, but that's one of those comfort things where I'm like,
I think I would need I would feel super uncomfortable going in the street, like with my phone, like, hey, like, what do you like? I'm just not that. I before like working for this company that I currently work for, I never did anything social media. I literally figured out what TikTok, Twitter, all this stuff was because of this.
Bye, Nikki.
So, like, take care, Nikki. But yeah, like so, like for me, like I'm not the kind of person who's like who was super comfortable, taking selfies, taking pictures, videotaping
Yeah.
myself out in public. I don't do, I'm not an actor, like I never did skits and anything like that. So like
Yeah.
I see like like fairy fiends like doing all this stuff. I'm like, am I gonna eventually have to do this?
I think it'll be fun. Like out there, well, the energy will be up. Like we'll be excited to do
Yeah.
it. Our friends will be there, so I hope it'll be that kind of environment. But if I was to do anything like that on my own, I would probably need a cameraman
Mm.
and make it feel a little bit professional, so I don't feel like a fucking idiot walking
Yeah.
around like, hey, like you want to be in this YouTube
That's
bit?
yeah, because like no one know like people, my people know. I mean, people like social media, but like in the street, like who's this kid walking
I would go. You
around?
know what? A college would be good. Going into a college would be
Ooh,
smart.
that would be
Because
a
there
really
is a
good.
couple colleges in Seattle, so I would maybe do that first. Because college
Okay.
kids are cool, if they're not
Mm.
like in the middle of like rushing to class, I could probably get a conversation out of them, and they're more open to it. If I get some 40-year-old white dude, he's just gonna be like, "Get a real job," It's just
Right.
like,
Yeah, I've thought about doing like, NFT like giveaways like live, like, like crypto give like Solana, hey, do you know what crypto is? Like here, da, da, da.
yeah,
And obviously, off, on camera, like, set it up for them and edit it. So it's not like just me sitting there, you do this, do that. But like, I think it'd be an interesting like onboarding thing. I know there's this I don't even know if it's still there, but like there was this vending machine. So I live in the New York area. So there's this
okay.
vending machine in New York City. I forget where it was, but like it vends like Solana NFTs where like, use your phone, scan a QR code.
What?
Yeah, like you basically it's a minting, so you can't like pick the one. It's not 101, but like they
Oh,
have two projects they partner with, and you basically
no fucking
yeah,
way!
you scan your
Wow,
QR code and like and it mints to you basically. It's pretty cool. So I wanted to go there and like like
what,
do that and maybe like do like a giveaway live or whatever. I'm like
bro? Oh my
I
god,
just gotta get comfortable like I've never done
yeah,
anything live like in like I'm always sitting in front of my in front of my
right,
camera or whatever, like my setup or whatever. So
yeah,
like it's
wow.
but I think that
That's
this will
that's
be a
so interesting. So
isn't
you
that
live so
cool?
you live in the New York City area,
Well, I live in Connecticut, but like
Connecticut?
it's the county like it's right next to New York. I'm like a
Yeah.
10-20 minute drive from like from New
Damn.
York, which is nice. Yeah.
I fucking love New York City. I know everyone says they want to live in New York City, but I've visited New York City multiple times, and now making content, I'm like, shit, this is a possibility. Like if I'm making good money, I could set aside 6 months of rent and be like, okay, fuck it, we're gonna move to New York City for a few months, make it about content, maybe be able to write some things off on taxes or something. I would love to move to New York City. I know a couple people who live there. Do you think could you ever live in New York City?
I lived in Queens for a little bit, but it wasn't like the city. It was like, it was a little bit more, it was less hustle and bustle in that area of Queens, but like I have a lot of friends who live in Manhattan and me personally, like maybe for like 6 months.
Yeah, that's
Not
what I'll probably
yeah.
do. Just a little bit, because I want to experience walking around in the parks and like see people running around Central Park and fucking I don't even know walk around the city or something. I think it'd be fun for a little bit.
Yeah. It had to be like, I know everyone's on top of each other, so it had to be like a quiet-ish like area
Yeah, that's
because of the
true.
content and all that.
That is true. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. I just seen like Casey Neistat. I remember I used to watch him a lot. Like seeing, and there's a couple other guys who make content in New York City. And they like ride around their boosted boards along the streets and stuff. I'm like, man, that
Mm,
looks so fucking awesome. Like you just step outside and like stuff is happening. Like right now,
mm.
if I look outside my window, there ain't nothing happening. Ain't
Yeah,
nothing happening. There's a person walking their dog in a
right.
backyard. I'm like, there's nothing cool happening. So I want to live in the city. I think I love living in the city. I did in college for a few years. I loved living in the city. I kind of like that to see everyone out there like visually. I can see them doing stuff. Like in
Mm.
college, that's what it was. Everyone was going to classes and stuff. But it felt good to be like, okay, I'm doing things, and everyone else is also out here kind of hustling a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, I do like the feel of the city, and, like you said, college, like, the whole, like, everyone is moving, kinda keeps you motivated, almost like a visually, like,
Yeah,
motivation.
yeah, we're all here in college, moving around, doing stuff, but we're not really doing anything.
Yeah, it's just kind of running into each other and trying to get to
Literally,
class.
that was it with college. What did you go to college for? Like a specific degree, or you just kind of fuck around, or
Hospitality, actually. So,
hospitality?
yeah, like, that was originally what I wanted to do was, like, either open a restaurant or, like a party planning, something like that, but, here I am instead.
Yeah,
I'm happy
yeah.
doing this, though. I much prefer this. I think
Same, dude. I
yeah.
went to college did nursing 1 year, computer science 1 year, and then I settled in public health.
Mm.
I mean, like, I guess I could maybe use that degree and go work in a hospital or something. Like, I'd be down if I had to. I would maybe do that. But like when I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything I can not to use this degree because I don't find any of that shit interesting.
And it is as far as, like, especially now with the NFT space the way it is, even
Yeah.
the content space, I feel like there's just so much upward potential, like, that we have here in this space, as opposed to,
Hmm.
like, a normal, job where you might get a raise every 4 years or whatever, and it's, like, not it was not even substantial, like, I think that,
Yeah.
like, there definitely there is, like the possibility for big return, if that makes sense, with this type
Yeah.
of with this type of job.
Yeah, 100%. I think this entire like NFT bubble is just too many fucking opportunities are rolling around everywhere. Like you could the stupidest thing can lead to a job, like a full-time job in this
Hmm.
space. Like it's ridiculous. Like the fact that you can reach out. Like I know Mikey G, one of the former mods for Hate Beast, him and I had a podcast and I was like, "Yo, how'd you get that job?" He goes, "Well, I found the project and I hit up the founder and he gave me a job on the spot." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, that was full time." And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And he was like, that's literally how it happens for like so many people.
Hmm.
What's up, Stylist? Shout out from South Africa. But yeah, there's so many people who can get jobs just doing random shit. You never know if if a video is going to go viral. You never know if some fucking company owner sees it and he's like, hey, we want to see this guy on our YouTube channel. We want to make a YouTube channel and dedicate that money. I still can't believe projects or companies aren't hopping onto the social media trend. And I'm like, how many times does Gary Vee have to be right before y'all listen to him and
I know.
hire out a fucking media company? Just hire up a kid in college and another kid and be like, go make it happen. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, why aren't they doing this? Do you have an answer as to why you think they're not?
Um, Honestly, just like it probably would just be. I mean, I guess for them, these are CEOs or whatever. To them, like, who, like, why would I hire some college kid to do this or that, whatever? Like, I would have to hire like a legitimate company. I feel like there aren't a lot of them out there that are, like I don't know, I have a lot of people who projects like owners who come to me and like they've told me some of the struggles that they've had trying to find like marketing and content production and all that kind of stuff from like companies and like it's like this is I guess they're either too busy or they're just not professional. So and then
Yeah.
he had to come. He actually, that's how he found me, because he just got sick of that. And it's like we decided just to find like just some some NFT content, and see if he can do it. And I think that's going to start happening more and more until I don't know, either more social media companies come up that are professional. I just
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I've been scrolling on TikTok, kind of looking out for that actually, and seeing a few more. They're definitely startup companies, I think, that are doing it. Media companies, projects starting to, or companies are starting to grow online. And I'm seeing like the best ads are the ones where they just like they show the utilization of whatever they're offering, whatever service they're offering, in like a story like format across a minute video. And at the end, I'm like, oh, that was like a really cool video. Like I feel good watching that video. And I see the use case for the company or the service or whatever, or whatever product they're selling, and I'm like, this has got to be the new wave of advertising and marketing for projects. Because like that kind of thing works. Like I would be much more inclined to buy that than seeing some sponsored ad on TikTok where it's something cheesy and it's just like clearly they didn't put much effort into it. And I think people who are focusing on content, especially like artists out there right now, I think there's a huge opportunity right now if you're able to put out that story and to be that person who's able to come out with high quality art or videos, stuff like that. That's where you can really get hired by companies saying like, hey, we want you to bring in some of your skills there. What do you think are like the biggest skills to work on for people who are making content or want to be making content?
If they're doing it themselves, definitely. I mean, there's just so much that gets this involved. Depending on what I guess just figure out what the algorithm on the specific, social media platform you're using. That's the biggest one, because you can make
Yeah.
the best content if you're not posting at the right time with the right hashtags, the right amount of times. It doesn't matter how good your content is. Like, if the algorithm doesn't like you, unfortunately, especially with TikTok, YouTube's a little bit better about that. Unfortunately, with YouTube, unless you're just doing the YouTube Shorts, it is a little bit harder to get out there, because
Mhm.
TikTok people are watching hundreds of TikToks in a sitting, thousands in a sitting, whereas YouTube
Exactly.
videos they might watch like one or two, so it's harder to get yourself out there on YouTube, I think. But I know I off of that, I think that the biggest thing is just being on multiple platforms. Like I used to just have a YouTube. Now it's so much better having a YouTube and a TikTok and a Twitter and all that, and being able to kind of funnel and have a funnel system. Like, I'm going to use this to funnel these type of people, to my YouTube account, or, to my XYZ, wherever you're trying to get everyone to, whether it be the Discord, where they can like really get to know you.
Yeah.
It's all about a funnel system. I think that's a really important part.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's like the best word right there, the funnel system. For and if, I mean, you kind of explained it there. You're basically just making content, you're batching content. Hopefully, if you're making YouTube stuff or something like that, you can take that YouTube content, cut it up. And from my experience, that actually hasn't been terrific. I haven't seen like a crazy ROI from clipping up YouTube videos and making it into TikToks. I think making TikTok specific content has its own payoff on its own right. But like the idea between Gary Vee's thing, which is like post fucking everything everywhere, that's a way more like, it takes a lot more work. But I think that like I don't know, it just works when you funnel people from TikTok and Twitter and YouTube and all these different places. Like your goal is to just get your face out there. So like people recognize your face no matter what the thing is. So if you make a bit on whatever, people just want to hear your opinion on what happened. Like for the people who are asking me about Imaginary One's NFT, what I thought the floor price was going to be, and I was like, bro, I've made like no content on that project, but they just like they know what I do, and so like they want to hear my perspective on it. And that should be the goal if you're a content creator, at least, to just get your name associated with people that who just want to hear your opinion on shit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Just having a positive outlook, having a positive name in the community is really important. And honestly, this is just doing kind of like what you're doing, just doing the right thing and just
Mhm.
continuing to do that. Like, it's not that hard to be a good person, especially in the
Yeah.
NFT space. Like, I mean, it's not a cutthroat industry like like the stock world. Every like stock trading company, they're all trying to one up the other,
Yeah.
steal from the other. This is such a toxic environment, and the NFT space is the complete opposite. Like everyone's trying to help each other. The whole we're all going to make it mentality. You don't get that in a lot of
But
businesses.
is it real, you think? Is it real that like the wag meat mentality, you think, or is it kind of bullshit?
Um, I mean, I think so. I mean, obviously not everyone believes it, but I think that the right people do believe. I personally do believe it, just because we are all super early. Do
Yeah.
I believe that everyone's gonna, like, just like if you invest in any random project, or put out a random project, you're gonna make it? No, but like I think that, or anyone will make it? No, but I think that we, as in like the people who are doing this the right way and know what they're doing, I think that we are all gonna make it, because we're just so early. It's like,
Yeah.
this is like it's going to be hard to not make it if you're just continuing to make the content you're making. You, like, I remember when I first started watching you, like you've like tripled or doubled in on all platforms since then. Because this consistency, just doing the
Mhm.
right thing, and I think that I think that, and it also, just from talking to a lot of projects, I have a lot of partnerships and stuff like that with like, a lot of founders, and there are some who are like, oh, I don't want to get my name, I don't want to show, get another project into the Twitter space. I don't want them, like, our followers, to go there.
Yeah.
But that's really rare. Like, you don't see that a lot, which is nice. Like, a lot of people do want to bring up others, especially the one-on-one artists, and the
Mhm.
the TikTok NFT artists, I guess. There are two very different types of NFT, I guess,
100%, dude. They're way
projects.
different.
Like
Do
the
you have any Are
independent
you an art
scene.
collector at all? Do you collect any NFTs just to hold, or are you more into like flipping it? Do you even participate in like trading stuff, or not so much?
No, I do. I'm more of I do a little bit of everything. I have like some of the one-on-one art that I'm just like holding. So I like the artists, like, Birds
Yeah.
of USA, or like those kind of, like, the TikTokers, like Brain Shambles. I'll hold them just, as support.
Right.
And then there's the ones where I'm holding because, I have a partnership with them, because I believed in them, and I wanted to help. And then there's ones that I am just like flipping, on
Right.
Solana blockchain or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I think actually the one we're holding NFTs and support is actually great. Like that's the way I think Tom brought it up yesterday with the way I'm doing my NFT projects is Genesis collections. Like I think any way I do my collection is going to be in the format of Genesis collections, where I build up my brands and my collections through like mini drops rather than one big one all at once, and risking, like, I don't know, like a crashing of a mint site or fucking someone hacking the thing or whatever. I like the idea of dropping them small,
Mm.
and being able to kind of like nitpick who I let into my little inner circle there, and be like, okay, I don't like, I don't know. I want to be able to choose who's in my like group and my, what's the word, like my investing circle or my supporters or whatever. Because I think it's important. There's people that aren't really going to help my brand even if they are invested, and I think the ones where people are holding your NFT that you believe in and that you also support is really important. Like for example, Tom's Summit Club is an NFT alpha group type deal, and he has a few YouTubers in it who we're not paying anything to be in there, and we sometimes get benefits, but it's more for him to be like, look, we have all these people in this group together. That's like a big thing there, because it's like otherwise you wouldn't have access to these people. And so I think when you have NFT holders who are like, hey, I have the CEO of this company, like with Neo Tokyo, they're like, we got Seedify's CEO, we got D-Race CEO, they're all these really smart, successful people in one ecosystem. I think that really helps out like the legitimacy of the project
Mm.
too.
Yeah, I know, like with Moonbirds, it's like, it's like they had that private, like, like I guess like their Discord group, the
Mhm.
call out group, where, it was pretty exclusive. And then, you know, they got big, and, they, instead of just like, putting out all these different projects, and they kind of, what you were talking about at first, like they have a very exclusive collection. And then, eventually, people want in on that. So then
Yeah.
that's when, once you
Shit has
blow,
been wild,
up,
bro.
oh my God, that's
Could you
insane. Like,
fucking imagine buying an NFT for 2.5 ETH and just going to 40, and I remember at 10 ETH, everyone was like, "Oh, it's gonna crash." And then it goes to 20. Everyone's like, "Ah, you sold at 10," and then it goes to 30. They're like, "Fuck me, I
Oh
sold at 20, and I could have sold at
man.
30." Everyone's laughing at the people who sold at 20, and then it goes to 40, and you're just like, "What in the
Like,
hell
what
is
is
this ever gonna stop?"
that?
It's just like, imagine being the guy who bought at 40 ETH though, bro. Like,
Oh,
imagine being that guy. Like,
I
who has 40 ETH for one? And then why are the people who are always the richest always the ones who like? I'm about to put this tweet out today. Probably it's something like, "Thank you to all the rich people who consistently buy the top for all of us, so we can watch." Like, I wonder how the portfolio is doing. There's a lot of people who literally FOMO into everything at the
Mhm.
very top every single time, and it's just like, what are you
Well,
doing?
to them, it's easier to like jump on a bandwagon than to
Yeah,
believe in something that isn't already pumping, and
that's true.
that's the FOMO right there, and that's what
Yeah,
gets people in on the top, or the pump and the pump the top of the pump before the dump, I guess. Not that I
yeah.
think that Moonbirds is going to have it done. I really I haven't done much research on that one because I'm just it's just fun. I'm not going to be buying one anymore at this point.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's the same. That's honestly why I waited like 70 episodes of reviews before I did anything on Bored Ape Yacht Club. I was like, motherfuckers, why do you want me to review this? None of y'all are gonna buy this project. None of you can
Exactly.
afford this. Like, what are you talking about?
Like to me, like it's almost just more like an infomer. Like this is what they do. Like this is
Yeah,
why it happened. Because like no one's. I'm not going to tell any of my my people like, hey, like buy it. This it's going to go to
right.
like 150, 100. Like that's just come on. Like who's
Do you have
this?
any do you have any NFTs that you missed out on that you literally were like, I was right there and I didn't buy it? You
Um,
got anything bad?
my pet hooligan. Nothing like that. Like Moonbird like
Yeah.
level. My pet hooligan was one where I was really bullish on it, and I like had to go do something during the mint, and then it gets sold out. And
Dude, I just reviewed my. It's in Final Cut to be edited right now. My review on my Pet Hooligan. One, it's my longest review ever because there's a lot of things in their white paper that I had to go over. But like, that project's solid as fuck, bro. For anyone's
yeah.
listening, my Pet Hooligan. People have been yelling at me for probably 3 months now to do a review on that project, and I just kept forgetting, and I finally did it. And I was halfway, and I was like, okay, I see why everyone's been yelling at me because this is a strong project.
Yeah, I did a video about it like maybe like 3 weeks like back like when they had whitelist spots. So I was able to get in the whitelist and get
Nice,
and like yeah, but then I just
bro. Wait, you had whitelist and you didn't mint it?
I
Oh,
yeah no I missed. I was like I don't know, I was
oh
just
my
either
god.
busy or whatever, and I was just like kicking myself. I was like
Damn.
yeah,
How
like
did
I
it
was
do out the gate? Was it a good like kind of flip kind of thing or?
yeah, it pumped up pretty hard to like point 0.5 and like point 0.8 and like then like 1 point. Yeah,
Damn.
I think it pumped like two or like yeah, I could have done pretty well. Yeah,
Oh
I was a little upset about that. And then of course there's all the
shit.
ones like I bought and then like I held so like the art. I'm like, oh, I don't want to sell
Yeah.
this one and whatever. Like it's so much easier to hold all these NFTs. Like even if it's not part of your plan, then it is
Yeah.
stocks. So, like I'm not like invested in these stocks as far as like with the NFTs. Like it's like the art's cool, the community's cool. Like it's more fun. It's easier to hold on to them. So like
Exactly.
I have a few that I wish I sold before the big NFT dump, I guess.
Yeah. How about what is your like favorite? Do you have a favorite NFT that you hold that you're like, that's my baby?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or any projects that you would like to hold that you probably could afford soon that you might be able to get kind of thing?
Ooh. Well, right now the one I have that I know I'm probably never gonna be selling, just I'm really bullish long term is Fat Pandas NFT. I don't know if you heard of
Fat
them.
pandas. Let me look them up real quick. Tell
Yeah,
me
yeah,
more about them.
yeah. So Fat Panda is a $500 million recreational marijuana company in California.
Whoa.
Yeah, so and I'm very bullish just on recreational marijuana in
Right. Yeah.
general, and then NFTs. Like this is two spaces that are up and coming. So I'm like, this is perfect. And so the founder, the actual founder of this company, super successful company, decided to make an NFT project, because he believes that this is the future. This is a
Mhm.
good time to get in now. So he created this NFT project, Fat Pandas. They have all these different drops, like they have the Sugar Skulls drop and like a whole new collection. The Fat Pandas drop I personally like. It's pretty cool because I guess I don't live in California, so like, I can't
Yeah.
take advantage of all the utility. But like you get these tokens, through this utility machine, and one of the tokens is seeds that you can trade in for real life marijuana seeds with their
No
partner.
fucking way, dude.
Yeah,
That
you
is
get
awesome.
and you get discounts at the dispensaries and stuff. So like for the marijuana like
Wow.
community, it's pretty cool. Like they have grow kit giveaways. They teach you how to grow and all that kind of stuff. So like I don't know, it's pretty neat, and it's like a legitimate company. And like
Yeah.
I've talked to them. Like they and here's the deal. Like they didn't sell out and all that. It's not one of those like pump and whatever. Like they didn't have a super successful sell or anything like that. But I've talked to the founder. He's like we're gonna we're gonna be here 5 years from now. Like
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. He's like we've like they spent so much money, like more money than they even made off the mint, because they just know like this is
Yeah.
an investment for them, as opposed to just like, hey, let's see how much I can make off of a mint and then try to use as little of it as possible, or try to make as much money off of it. For them, there's like, let's just make a badass video game and do all this utility, and then down the line, good things will come our way, and plus they have money to spend. So
I mean, that's how you got to think about it. I feel like that's probably the way we both kind of look at NFT projects. I don't really look at it like, how did the mint do? Okay, that project's completely dead. Like I do try and dissect whether or not it's if it's worth a damn at all. And that's where you kind of have to look at the experience of the team. Like, what is their real vision here? Can they even pull it off? Is there any reason we should believe they should? But also, like, how have they set up the brand? How have they set it up? How are they attacking the project? There's some projects that I reviewed that I knew they wouldn't do well. Like when I do review projects, and I vet them out like literally live on. I mean, I vet them for the first time on camera. Like that's what the series is there for. It helps people learn how to vet their own projects. It's a way for me to make money. It's a way for the project to learn what they need to work on, and it's a win for everybody. But when I'm doing some reviews, I usually within the first 30 seconds can tell if the project's going to sell out, if it's going to do well right off the bat. But there's some projects that I knew wouldn't do well, but I knew that the back end wouldn't matter if it did well, because I'm like, these people they have so much money that they're going to make it work regardless. It's just a business idea for them. It's just a business venture. It's no different. It just utilizes NFTs. Really, is that the way you look at projects, or like what is your process of looking at NFT projects right now?
So it depends if I'm trying to flip it, I guess, or if I'm trying to hold. Like, it's a long-term hold. I definitely, I care about the art, not because I'm not a huge artist, but like I do know that like for long term during those lulls, like the art is definitely gonna be a thing that might keep people, because like an NFT project can't do news every 10, every 5 days, every 2 days, whatever, and so eventually there will be that like boring period. Like the art and the community, I think, are two things that will keep people during that lull that other projects might struggle with. So I do care about that as far as the long term ones. Short term, I do care about like will they sell out? Because I'm trying to flip it before the reveal type of deal. So like that does matter. Like, quick sellout, and then I can flip it pretty quickly. So it really does depend, I guess, on the goal, I guess, for that project.
Yeah, I agree. What's up? I don't know. I assume it's Ellie, not Eli, but I think it's Ellie. What's up? You're about an hour late. Sorry. But don't worry. The videos are always posted on the YouTube channel, so you're not gonna like not be able to watch this later. So no problem. But no, that's the way I look at NFT projects, I would say. Do you like how much your stock background lends itself into your NFTs? Do you even use any of that, or is it totally different thing?
Oh no, 100%. Especially because like what we teach over PB Alerts is less about like the chart. It's less about all the strategies. 'Cause anyone can do a strategy. Like we teach that as well. But we're really focused, and especially for new traders, we want to focus on the trading psychology first and the trading plan. We kind of like want to get everyone like everyone goes onto YouTube and they see like, oh, RSI strategy, buy 30, sell 70, make $100, and they're like, oh, teach me how to do the RSI, teach me how to use the MACD, KDJ, whatever. And we're like, all right, like we will. Don't get no, we will. Like in our university, we're gonna get their month too. But let's focus on the psychology. Let's focus on on the plan, because even with all all the tools, all the indicators, if you don't have the psychology behind it, you're going to end up FOMOing into projects. You're going to, your emotions will get the best of you, and all that logic and all that knowledge is your emotions will trump that if you don't know how to manage your emotions. So I definitely think that like with NFTs, especially, the psychology behind the trading is very important. And having a plan, going into this project saying like, I'm going to buy 3 of them. I'm going to flip one. I'm going to hold one long, whatever your plan is, you have that plan and this is what I'm going to do, because once you start going, steering away from that plan, letting your emotions kick into play, that's when, you can either hold onto a bag or, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I agree. You need to, and probably that's going to take like the worst part about NFTs is that you're probably going to have to, regardless of how much go through all the same shit everyone goes. Even if we tell you not to do this, you're still going to probably have to do it for yourself. And with NFTs, like it took me a long time before I got comfortable with saying, okay, I'm going to flip this here and buy it in here, because I know my goal is like, now my goal is to just raise my net worth. So I'm like, if that's my real goal here, I can't be holding every single NFT that I buy, because it doesn't translate to building wealth. That just translates to me holding bags for the most part. So I've identified a couple projects that I want to be in, a couple projects that I'm in right now that I'm good to hold, and everything else I'm like, all right, fam, you got a couple months left in my in my bag here, because I'm gonna get rid of you soon. But you need to have those goals set in stage, and then having the entrance and exit strategy good to go, because as soon it's always how it is. You say you're going to sell 0.3, it gets to 0.3, and you say, well, let me sell 0.4. and then it
Right.
crashes to 0.1. You're like, fuck, I should have sold at 0.3. And like, that's where like the only way I can explain to people, I'm like, look, are you okay with taking your profit now? Would you rather take the profit now, guaranteed 0.3, or take the gamble that you might get 0.4, but it might go to zero? Like, are you okay with that? Would you rather have that 0.3, or do you really crave that extra 0.1? And if you do, then take the chance. But if not, take the 0.3. And for me, most of the time, the conservative bet wins out for me. So I've kind of just stuck with that, and I've gotten more boring with my trades as I've gotten better in trading and stuff like that. And I agree with you. I think using, like, I have a background in finance too, so I understand logistics and like charts and stuff a little bit, and I do use that. But it kind of all the things kind of accumulate to like my plan or whatever, you know. And a lot of it is emotions and NFTs and crypto. You can bet on emotions more than charts a lot of times, because you're like, yeah, I know it should do this, but like I know that people aren't going to do that, so I think we can go this way. And so actually, I had a really specific question actually about Dutch auctions and what your thoughts are on that.
So I've personally never actually like been a part of one. So I don't personally know. I think it's an interesting concept, but I know like whenever I've seen one, it's always like at a stupid high price to start off at. I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, like I always stay clear personally. Have you ever done like any of those? Or?
So for people who don't know what Dutch auction is, basically they set a price up, and every like hour or something they drop the price by a little bit until it sells out. People don't like it because they think it rewards the rich people, which it kind of does, but it also gets rid of gas wars. I don't really have that many thoughts. I don't know why everyone's so mad about it. I mean, I think for me, it's just like, okay, if a project does a Dutch auction, steer away because everyone hates it, so it's not going to go over well. It's almost never gone over well, honestly. Like I don't think I've ever seen a project successfully do it where people are pumped about it. I think maybe the Mutant Apes did it once, but I feel like the ape system is a little bit of a can't really compare that to
Yeah.
anyone because they're doing their own thing. But Dutch auctions, man, I've never really participated. I don't think. No, I don't think I ever have. I know Ty Lopez did a backwards one that people thought was funny. He like started at 0.1 and kept going up, and it was just people were like, "Wait, what's happening?" But I've never really been part of it. I don't really have any thoughts toward Dutch. I just didn't know if you had any like specific thoughts on it from like with your background or not.
Yeah, I never I just always stay clear just because the sentiment, like you were saying, just
Yeah.
always just people just don't seem to like it. So like you said, like if people don't like it, probably not gonna work out. So yeah,
Yeah, well,
I
I'm
stay
trying to
clear.
figure out like what the percentage of people in the NFT space are rich versus not. Like, what percentage is rich? You know, like because I see so many people complaining about Dutch auctions, probably because they don't have money, like to
Right.
buy it. It's like that's why they're mad. So I'm like, is the majority of people in the NFT space a bunch of kids, or is the majority a bunch of people with money?
Well, I mean, I feel like even the rich ones are only NFT rich, like unless like even
True.
like that's the thing about NFTs, like without like with stocks, I buy a stock that's let's say I put 10, $200 down, right? And this and somehow this it's a crypto at this point, altcoin or whatever. It goes to $200,000, kind of like
Yeah.
Bored Ape Yacht Club went from 250 to like $200,000 in like a year. And with a stock, I could sell $100,000 of that and still keep some of my investment, still be in
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that. Whereas with like NFTs, I have to sell the whole NFT. Like I would have to sell my ape, and then I'm no longer part of the,
Hmm.
this, that, whatever. So I think there are a lot of people who are, rich, but like it's not with like money, it's with their NFTs. So like, they
Yeah.
can't afford to buy more because they still have,
Exactly.
they're holding on to the current ones they have for the utility and all
Yeah.
that.
When are we going to see fractionalized NFTs? You think? You think that's
Um,
soon, or are we a good bit away from that? Because
I
that's probably up to the projects to fractionalize their own NFTs in the set, or is that up to the holders of that specific NFT? Because once they buy it, it's theirs. So it's
right.
like
Well, I think isn't like Logan Paul doing something like that with like Liquid Marketplace or something? Or
he is, yeah, I think, but it's only like I'm not sure how it works, like who gets to list or if anyone can list it. I just don't know who has rights. Like if I had, for example, Cool Man's Universe, if I have two of them and they say, okay, we're fractionalizing them, like does that mean I can sell 13% of my Cool Man and not get rid of him? Because I'd be down because I like my Cool Man a lot, so it'd be really hard for me to sell it. But if I can fractionalize them, like shit, if I can keep even 1%, I'm down with that.
yeah, I think right now, I forget the company. There is one that's doing something where I don't think it's like the project that does it. I think that like the company basically buys the NFT, puts it like in a vault, and
Hmm.
then they then sell each share, kind of like fraction of a stock.
Yeah.
And everyone can then go and purchase, share, instead of getting, I can't afford one CryptoPunk, but this company can buy the CryptoPunk, put it in a vault, and then just sell shares of it, I guess.
Hmm.
And then like that's like the asset. I don't know. I don't know if the utility stays to the holder while it's in the vault or how that works, but like it'd be an interesting concept to be able to, kind of make money off of your NFTs. I did a Twitter space with this founder of Maverick Finance, and they're doing
Hmm.
something in the crypto space where you can put your crypto basically leverage your crypto. So you put your crypto into there. It's kind of like a loan into their vault. So let's say I put like $200,000 worth of crypto into the vault. I can then get a loan of real money, like a certain X amount, percentage of that, like $100,000 of real money as like a loan, and of course you only do this if you're bullish on the crypto. So let's say I have like $200,000 worth of or $20,000 worth of Ethereum. I don't want to sell it, but I want some money. I want some of my funds. Like I plan on holding this for 10 years, but I'm okay. So I put some of it into that, into Maverick Finance, and I get some money back, and then later on I pay the loan back and I get my Ethereum back, and if it does go to 40K from then, I get the 40K as opposed to 20K. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, with all this, with the fractionalized shares, and just being able to use, being able to, I guess, make money off your investments without selling them, because with crypto and especially NFTs, you have to hold on to them in order for it to, in order to use the staking, this, that, whatever stocks, you don't stake, you don't really need them, as you just kind of buying and selling, but there's so much utility involved in these crypto and NFTs. It's just an interesting concept that you brought up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's tough because people want the staking, but it's like the staking only works if there's something actually like happening, and there's got to be like a lot of utility that is being truly actively used, which is just pretty much isn't happening. I mean, the Bored Ape Yacht Club system works because it's Bored Ape Yacht Club. 8 works because it's Bored Ape Yacht Club. There's no other reason. It's not like they've done anything. They've just created more assets that are worth more, and that's really all that's happened. I guess this is one of my final questions in regards to like money stuff. What are your thoughts on like crypto NFT taxes that just happened?
Oh,
Because that shit was difficult for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely took a hit with that, like the third. Yeah. I mean, I think this is so new, all of this, like, this with the regular, I think there's gonna be a lot of changes to crypto, in the future with the regulations even. But I mean, I definitely do think that this is a way for the government to kind of get a handle on things, if that makes sense. So I think long term, I'm not too worried about it. But no, it's definitely it was a pretty big percentage too.
Yeah, it was a lot, dude. And like a lot of people didn't know what the fuck to do. They were like, yeah, I think this is what you do, but if not,
right.
Fuck. Like I did my taxes and I literally was like, well, I did my best, guys. If they audit me, which they fucking did, and what's annoying about taxes, the fact that we're literally like one of the only countries who like they already know what we owe, but they still make us like figure it out on our own. Like I sent out, I'm thinking about just like doing my taxes wrong every time and just letting them do it for me and sending me the mail. Because what I found is they just send me the audit and I just pay it and I'm done. And I was like, wow. Fuck, I should just like do my taxes wrong and then just send me what I owe them and I'll just do it there and I won't have to pay anyone to do it. But jeez. I don't know. Dude, the tax system is a mess right now. It's a fucking mess. You can't get in contact with them, bro. You call them and none of them. I think a statistic said like 2% of calls are answered for tax or something like that. And then like if you email them, it takes like 4 weeks for them to even get the email. And then like it's just like all this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like the website looks like it's 20 years old, and you're like, because it is 20 years old, and you're like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of taxes.
Yeah, so it sucks. Ellie says, once y'all make a big bag, just leave the States because they're screwing over everyone. I've thought about this. I've thought about moving over and pulling a Logan Paul and dipping into Puerto Rico. Thought about leaving and going to Thailand because I'm like, why not, dude? Like literally, what is the only thing keeping me here? It's the fact that it's just easier. I think because I'm already here.
Where my company is thinking, we're talking to our lawyers and trying to figure it all out, but we're thinking about a possible like just getting a house in Puerto Rico and using it as a headquarters, like possibly making like a content house or something, because like,
dude, hit me up if you do something like that. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. If you do something like that,
you're on the list. I have a list already, and you are on it though. But
I would be very down to talk about that.
I think that's something that we are missing. I mean, obviously we're just talking about not making a project, but I think that it'd be interesting to like, I'm not like me, but someone who's very big in the YouTube space, knows how it all works, like do some kind of project where like, like the funds go towards a content house somewhere, and you get to like learn like how to make content, like with XYZ YouTube or whatever it may be. I think that there is a lot of like education when it comes to YouTube or when it comes to social media that is like kind of not out there. That could be, especially in like the NFT space is a very particular set of social media standards, I guess too.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll hit up our boy Logan. We'll have him pop by the house. Do a couple bits with him.
That'll definitely blow us up.
Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah. And that's actually funny. He's actually gotten better and better over the past couple of years with just business stuff. His first couple of NFT ventures were pretty trash,
Mm.
but this new project looks pretty cool.
Then
Ellie says, I moved to Mexico from Texas. Best decision of my life. Saves so much money and the lifestyle's better. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to the idea. I think I'm just scared because I don't know. Like, if I was to move to Puerto Rico, I'm like, is it safe? Does it have all
right.
these things that I'm like used to? Is that a real viable option or not? And I just don't know. Like, Thailand looks great on paper and it's cheap, and I'm like, well, okay, so why isn't everyone fucking moving there then? You know, I don't know. And I think I'm just nervous because I'm like, I don't want to go there by myself. I don't know what to do. But it's like, fuck, yeah. At some point, it's just like whatever. Everyone's done it. Like, you're probably gonna survive. Like, if the worst that happens, you have to fly back or something.
Right.
But I'd be super down to open up that conversation, dude, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
For
No, I
sure.
think that there's definitely a lot of people out, content producers out there in the space that it'd be cool to do some collabs with. Which is why I'm so excited for NFT NYC, because I've done like
Yeah.
these kind of things, podcasts and Twitter Spaces and all that. I've yet to like meet another influencer like in real life and do something,
Me too. Yeah, me
together. So
too.
like, yeah,
It stinks, dude.
yeah,
It
it's rough.
stinks. Yeah, I
Uh,
flew to California. I met Sydney. She's a big TikToker, and she's starting to get into YouTube and stuff like that. But she's the only content creator that I know other than that.
hmm,
I don't think I know anyone. Ellie, she says, don't be scared. Start by traveling. I think that's it. I think I've gotten comfortable. For people who don't know, I traveled and lived in my car for 6 months. Just travel all across the country. I was living in Walmart parking lots, jumping into Holiday Inn, stealing their coffee and ice, and like doing a full out homeless venture and traveling. So I think I've just gotten away. I mean, that's when I was like truly fuck it mentality, like not a clue where I was going to be tomorrow. Didn't even know how much money I was going to have in my bank account. It was just like that was like hardcore travel, and I've just
hmm.
been out of that game for like 6 or 8 months. I've been in the zone of like play it safe, just do my YouTube shit, don't listen to anything else. So I mean, I'd be down for sure. Okay. But anyways, yeah, I mean, look, we talked about a lot of shit here. I think we talked about taxes, talked about NFTs, investing, crypto, traveling, content houses, YouTube. Do you have any last second thoughts as to maybe how people can get started on content creation or getting into Web3, maybe getting jobs, stuff like that?
I know I don't remember off the top of my head. I can send it to you. I know there's a site that like there are a lot. It's like the Craigslist for Web3. So obviously, just with any job, just putting your name out there. With getting a resume together, putting that out there. Starting building the resume, whether it be trying to mod for an NFT project,
Yeah.
or even just like if you're trying to be an influencer, just have them on for a Twitter space, or just go into Twitter spaces and just jump in as a speaker. Request to speak and. Just start talking about whatever you're passionate about. People, if people, are into it, they'll follow
Yeah.
you. And, I mean, anyone can be an influencer in this sense, like in these NFT projects, like everyone is influencing.
Mhm.
I guess there's a difference between being an influencer and like a social media, like what you're doing. Like in theory, if you have one follower, you can be, you
Yeah.
can influence somebody. So,
True.
but yeah, no, honestly, it's just getting, just like you were saying before, just like getting your name out there, just taking that first step is really important. You never know who will, if you just ask like, hey, like, I want to try to do this, for your project, for this, for that, whatever, you'll be
Yep.
surprised at how many people might be willing to have that conversation with you. So, it doesn't hurt just to hop into people's DMs and to see what happens.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree with that. Twitter Spaces, talk about what you know, talk about what you love. People who fuck with you will follow you, and then you DM them like, "What's up?" Like, love to connect, and that's pretty much how it starts. That's fucking it, really. So, dude, thanks for coming on, and also, for anyone who's in the chat right now, if this is your first episode with me and you've never watched one, I want to see Matt spam in the comments for a code word so that I know. And I'm gonna put it on the screen right here. So I want to see Matt spam in the comments or a little code word at the end of the video. And if this is not your first episode, you've been here for a minute with us, I want to see OG in the chat. But other than that, dude, thanks for coming on. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I love chatting with you. I'd love to do something like, some more content together, especially in New York City. I'd love to,
Hell
chat
yeah,
there.
dude. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you like that video, click the subscribe button, follow us both on Twitter. I have his link down below in the description. I think it's like your link tree or something like that. So if you want to follow him there, that is down there. And until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn, and be grateful you're alive watching this video. Bye.